What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Join Ninja Nation. If you love baseball and you're not subscribed to Pitching Ninja, do you really love baseball? And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Luis Severino, who had 6 strikeouts in 5 innings, giving up only 1 run on 2 hits. He dominated with his fastballs and sliders. He had this 98-mile-an-hour painted fastball, and then this 97-mile-an-hour fastball right down the dick. He outdueled Roansy Contreras, who had 10 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings, but gave up 6 runs. He got a lot of those Ks thanks to his 6 sliders. Jordan Lyles had nasty sinkers and curveballs on his way to 6 strikeouts in 9 innings. Yep, a nice complete game. He only gave up 1 run on 3 hits. Bryce Elder had 6 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings, giving up only 1 run, thanks to his sinkers and cutters. Paulo Espino had this pretty curveball and gave up 1 run in 4 innings. Dane Dunning had this mix of changeups and sliders, and he had 8 Ks in 5 innings, giving up only 2 runs. Marcus Stroman had 7 Ks in 6 innings, thanks to his sinkers, his wicked changeups, and this painted slider. He was outdueled by Jesus Luzardo, the Jesus Lizard, who had 11 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings, giving up only 1 run on 3 hits. Luzardo had a filthy mix of fastballs, breaking balls, and changeups, including this back foot breaking ball. And of course, he had his Jesus Lizard K-strut. Robbie Ray had 7 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings, thanks to these wicked sliders and his painted fastball. He battled against James Caprillion, who had 6 strikeouts in 7 scoreless innings, thanks to his fastball and this dirty slider. Zach Wheeler had 3 Ks in 4 innings, thanks to this fastball and this wicked slider. And he was up against Kevin Gausman, who was brilliant, with 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up no runs. Gausman, of course, had his filthy splitters and painted with this 97-mile-an-hour fastball. But my favorite part of this game was when Bryce Harper swung at this splitter and then argued he didn't miss it and that he fouled it off. He's pointing to the part of the bat that he thinks it hit. He's saying, "Hey, can I get some help?" Well, Bryce, here's some help for you. You missed the ball by 6 inches. Can I get some help? That's a clown question, bro.
That's a clown question, bro.
It's like this is soccer instead of baseball. Come on, we don't flop here. Lance McCullers was nasty with 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. He threw 74% non-fastballs. That's right, only 26% of his pitches were fastballs. He relied mostly on his dirty knuckle curves, sliders, and changeup. He had this disgusting 88-mile-an-hour changeup that had 18 inches of run. Look at that thing. And then had this slider that broke 20 inches. And he painted with this slider. Throwing mostly off-speed pitches isn't new to McCullers. You might remember in 2017, he threw 24 consecutive knuckle curves to the Yankees. Dustin May only had 4 Ks in 4 innings, and he gave up 5 runs, but that doesn't sum up how amazing his stuff was. He had this 99-mile-an-hour sinker that ran 20 inches. That is a vile pitch. And then this incredible breaking ball with 3,390 RPMs. Here's an overlay of a 96-mile-an-hour sinker with an 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball. And check this out. They start out down the middle and end up on 2 different coasts. May even threw some downright ridiculous changeups. And then also had this nasty 92-mile-an-hour cutter. His arsenal is completely filthy. Even though the results weren't there, largely because of command, just remember, in the long run, filth wins. Never judge a young pitcher just by a game's results. May was outdueled by Madison Bumgarner, who had these curveballs and had 5 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up 1 hit and 1 run. Triston McKenzie was absolutely amazing. He had 13 strikeouts in 8 innings, giving up only 2 runs, and his curveball is incredible. It's one of the filthiest curveballs in the major leagues, with a 118 batting average against and a 44.2% whiff rate. And looking at these things, you can tell why. They're gorgeous and devastating at the same time. Here's an overlay of McKenzie's fastball and curveball, and you can see how much that curveball drops. This also allows McKenzie to K hitters with elevated fastballs because the hitter's all geared up for that curveball and gets gas instead. Here's Triston McKenzie's curveball grip.
This bush right here, and I try and tuck it as deep as possible and create a little bit of separation so I feel the ball almost like along the inside of his middle finger. When I start to rip it or I really want to get on top of it or throw it hard, I don't feel like the ball's going to get away from me. I can get to the front of the ball and I can get that true like on top of it feeling and feel like the ball's not necessarily coming up out of my hand, it's coming straight out like my fastball and then straight down.
McKenzie outdueled Lance Lynn, who had this nasty curveball. Miles McCullers had this painted two-seamer and fastball, as well as his pretty curveball on his way to 6 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up no earned runs. And he was up against yesterday's filthiest pitcher of the day, Blake Snell. I was positive Triston McKenzie was going to be my pitcher of the day, but Snell just took over. He had 13 strikeouts in 7 innings, giving up no runs on only 2 hits, and took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. His fastball touched 99 miles an hour. In fact, Blake said he was so pumped up about hitting 99 that he didn't realize he had a no-hitter. Snell's sliders and curveballs were disgusting. He had this White Castle special. And here are a couple of overlays that show why Snell's fastball and slider are such a good mix. He gets a very steep downward plane on his pitches, making those pitches indistinguishable when they leave his hand. To top it off, Snell hit 98 miles an hour on his 117th pitch of the game. An absolute tour de force performance by Blake Snell. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Andres Munoz had this nasty 91 mile an hour slider. Jose Alvarado had this 100 mile an hour fastball and 94 mile an hour cutter. Jose Leclerc had this wicked slambio that broke 13 inches back to the plate. It's called a slambio because look at his grip here. Yep, he grips it with just his middle finger and his ring finger, the same fingers you'd throw a changeup with, but it's a slider. But my filthiest reliever yesterday was Lucas Luetge for these curveballs and sliders. His slider had up to 21 inches of break, and that curveball had 69 inches of drop. Nice. And now, my pitching ninja moment of zen. Joey Votto is a man of the people. I love him going into the stands and entertaining fans. He even did play-by-play during the Reds game and had this interesting story about spotters in the shower.
There's somebody in football called a spotter that helps you identify the players on the field, and they'll forget they're spotting in the middle of the game. Point to the board.
I got some spotters on my team in the shower, so I got to watch out.
I think Barry Larkin agreed. That's TMI.
All right, let's keep it G. Let's keep it G.
Yeah, let's move on.
What's up, Ninja Nation? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to go with Shane Bieber for 6 Ks or more, Justin Verlander for 7 Ks or more, and top it off with Zach Gallen for 6 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?